Every 30 seconds, Taylor Mikesell hits another three. We're going to talk about how that happens. Locked On Women's Basketball starts now.
Ogunbowale for the win.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome to Locked On Women's Basketball. I'm your host, Howard Megdal, thanking you for making us your first listen every day. We cover the women's game Monday through Friday, everything past, present, and future. Saturday is all about the WNBA draft. We are still reckoning, of course, with the 2023 draft, but we are already getting you ready for 2024. So go ahead and subscribe, podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen. And of course, it's not just me, it is the incredible team over at thenexthoops.com, where we cover over 100 reported pieces every single month. Make sure you're subscribing, $9 a month, $72 a year, so that we can continue this work. And a good deal of that work over the past half decade has been about my guest today, Taylor Mikesell, who, and I exaggerated a little in the open about how often the threes fall. But I just, as a point of personal privilege, for you to come into this league on the heels of not just the type of prolific three-point shooting that you've had, but your game at all three levels and where they are, it's going to translate right away, in my view. So welcome to the show. I guess the place I want to start is, what is the biggest under discussed aspect of your offensive game, first and foremost?
Well, first, thank you for having me. I think the most, underrated aspect of my game would be just my relationship with my teammates and the IQ that I bring to the game. I think I'm able to play with a lot of different teammates. Obviously, being in 3 different schools, I have seen a lot of different cultures, a lot of different programs, and how programs are ran. So I think most underrated attribute would be just ability to play in different situations.
It is 3 different systems, and you've managed to excel in all of them. And if you'll forgive a bit of nerdery, I promised ahead of time, when you arrived at college, when you were at Maryland, you shot 41.1% from 3 on almost 7 attempts. Here we are, and you just completed a season at Ohio State, not just those 7 threes in the Elite 8. You shot 41.4% from 3 on almost 8 attempts per game. And so I guess the place I'd love to know where it started is, where does your shot come from? How did you build it? And what has been the key to having this kind of repetition where the success is automatic?
Yeah, I grew up just having my dad kind of teach me the basics of basketball. But I mean, he's not a huge basketball guy himself. He's more of a runner and biker. So he just kind of taught me the mechanics just from playing in the backyard. That's how he picked it up. And so once I had the technique down, I got stronger, and then just kind of took his work ethic and applied it to basketball and kind of ran with it.
That's so interesting. So he wasn't a basketball guy. Was there a basketball person in your life, or was this something that you kind of grabbed early on and made it your own?
Yeah, I mean, not really a huge basketball family as a whole. I had an older brother, he's a year older than me. So I kind of grew up on a little tyke suit playing with him in our basement, and we had some battles since we were probably 3-4 years old. And then I was, like I said, got stronger. So we started playing outside on a bigger hoop. I think the first day I made a shot on a 10-foot hoop was probably like one of the best days ever.
And so what was the moment as you're growing up where you realize, all right, this is not just something, hey, I'm enjoying, oh, I'm good at. This is something that can take me places, to college, to the professional ranks. When did that kind of dawn as a realization?
Yeah, I had been dreaming about playing basketball professionally since I was really, really young. I mean, obviously the first goal for anybody is, they don't always hear about the WNBA first, they hear about the NBA. So once that possibility of making it to the NBA as the first female kind of lost its grab for me, the WNBA was the next best thing. And, after just following it as I grew older, seeing how many talented professionals are playing at the absolute highest level, and it's a very exclusive club to be a part of. So, I mean, geez, I would say probably since I was like maybe 11, 12 years old.
Do you think watching the NBA is part of why you are so comfortable shooting from anywhere? I mean, the 3-point line is like a suggestion for you.
Yeah, I grew up watching a lot of different players. I'm a big Kobe person myself, but
Sure.
I love Steph Curry and just how much he's changed the game of basketball for people that aren't necessarily as athletic or as big size wise, that aren't able to elevate over people, which kind of fit into my realm of skill set. So I like to watch him and take parts of his game and try to add it to my own.
It's fascinating to me that you have managed, of course, to do that from beyond the arc, but at all three levels, you are a very efficient scorer. I mean, you don't get to the WNBA without the opportunity to be able to score at the rim as well. And in both your final two seasons at Ohio State, you were north of 60% at the rim. Where does that come from? And, tell me a little bit about sort of your development as far as the penetration part of your game.
Yeah, I mean, it comes from just hours in the gym and preparation, kind of seeing how I was being guarded and how I would continuously be guarded just for my shooting ability first kind of opened up the lane for myself and for my teammates. So I think as I got to Ohio State, I kind of grew in that aspect of being comfortable. And I like to call it my gray area, which is like the mid-range and a little closer. So I think just getting comfortable in that area and continuing to try to evolve as the years have gone on has helped me. And I think also just helped my ability to create for other teammates.
Being able to play for Kevin McGuff gives you the opportunity to have a certain offensive freedom, I would imagine. And it's interesting, and obviously you played for Brenda Freese, you played for Kelly Graves, but tell me about what stands out. Kevin just celebrated 10 years at Ohio State. You guys had a terrific season. What is it about that experience that you're going to take with you think the most?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I did come back to Ohio State was just the freedom that Coach McGuff gives his players. And I was watching people like Kelsey Mitchell and Amherst Alston and people like that he gave the ultimate green light to, which is something that I was looking forward coming from Maryland and Oregon. But yeah, I think just that ultimate green light with the ability to be able to make a mistake and stay in the game and not be able to kind of play through your mistakes and play through getting a rhythm, I think is something that is like ultimately really freeing when you're playing on the court.
If you'll forgive the further statistical breakdown, I do think it's important. You talked about playing with teammates, right? And you are a shooter extraordinaire, but the ability to limit mistakes is another thing that feels to me like a separator when you think about going to the next level. And this has been no matter where you've gone. You were at Oregon and your turnover percentage was 12.9%. You come to Ohio State, it dips to 9.5 last year, 12.1 this year, despite the fact that you guys are playing at such an elevated pace. Tell me about that. Is it the game slowing down for you? Is it, what is it that has allowed you the ability to limit those mistakes despite the fact that you can play at such an elevated pace?
Yeah, I think a little bit of having the game slow down. But then I also think the comfortability with my teammates, like got here and was able to build a really good relationship with them pretty much right off the bat. And, having that extra added relationship and chemistry that you have kind of helps elevate the overall pace of the game as well. And then just being able to be comfortable, knowing that you can make a mistake and won't be pulled for it. And you kind of get to play through it. And ultimately you end up having less mistakes as a result of that.
No doubt about it. And so obviously having that confidence on the offensive end mattered, being able to play in a defensive system as well that mimics what you see often at the W level has to be significant. Just take me through, if you could, the way in which you feel like, and again, it manifested itself in your steal percentage, which is the highest of your career, but how much you feel like playing in that defensive system of Kevin McGuff's prepares you for what is ahead here in Indiana.
Yeah, I think our press was pretty incredible. It really speaks for itself. And I think that's really where I got a lot more comfortable on the defensive end. Our press, I think this year generated over 20 points a game just off turnovers. I think we play better as a whole, being out in transition and playing fast, and it actually benefited me as well, getting some open looks in transition. So I think looking at the offensive side of defense, for me, if you can get a steal or get something out easy in transition, it always fares well.
Locked On Women's Basketball is brought to you by GameTime. Look, buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. So the GameTime app is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. I've got one daughter who is a basketball obsessive. I've got another daughter who is a baseball and theater obsessive. We got a lot of things that we got to go to. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. You download the app. This is what I did. And they've got this amazing in-picture where you can see, oh, what's the view from your seat? So I can just show it to one child or another. Hey, would this be a good view? The answer is yes. Boom. Done. You don't even have to plan months in advance, which is also helpful. We've got this family of 4, So a lot of times it turns out we do have Wednesday free. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. So download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So obviously here in segment 2, I want to talk to you about the fit in Indiana, but it is worth noting playing 76.3 possessions per 40 minutes. You were 14th in the country. Is there just a level of work ethic that comes in Ohio State that allows you guys to not just be able to do that, to play at that pace, but to get stronger as the game goes on?
Yeah, I mean, kind of pride ourselves on being in 40-minute shape. And, obviously you see adversity, injuries hit at any point in time. So you have to be ready to step up in those moments. And I think that just is a testament to the work we put in the summertime more than anything, just being, well equipped for those situations. If you have to play the point guard one possession, the 2 one possession, or the 3 another possession, you got to be well equipped to do all 3. So I think just it's a testament to the hard work that we put in all season, and then just having that translate to the game.
How it translates is going to be fascinating. Let's talk about that here in segment 2, about the fact that, and first of all, I map quested prior to us getting on. We are 4 hours and 45 minutes from where you went to high school. Is that correct? Is that what the drive is going to be like for your family?
Yes, it is. A Big Ten tournament was actually in Indianapolis, so they are well versed in that drive.
So was the Fever your team growing up? Was that the team closest that you could get to? I was trying to do a quick check of geography in my head.
It was the closest geographically. I have never been to a WNBA game growing up. I watched a lot on TV, and then when I had been out in Maryland, we went to a lot of Mystics games. But obviously have been following with the success of Tamika Catchings and just people like that have been so great for such a long period of time. It's hard to not recognize that and want to emulate that. So I think just being a basketball junkie, I mean, obviously you watch a lot of basketball. So I've enjoyed watching Indiana Fever basketball, and I'm excited to be a part of that organization.
Is the biggest thrill out of that something like following where Kelsey Mitchell has gone to, given, the legacy she has at Ohio State? Is there some other aspect of it, whether it's having Grace Berger right there, somebody who you've done battle with in the Big Ten for much of your career, what was kind of the first things that kind of jumped out at you as like the Fever in particular as a landing spot for you?
I think the first thing that ultimately jumped out of my head was just that, thankful that they took a chance on me. I think more than anything, I'm just thankful for the opportunity and the ability to go in there and compete and then learn from the vets. I've known Kelsey just in passing from Ohio State, and obviously watched a lot of her games when I was being recruited by them in high school. And just, it's hard to not love watching her play. Her work ethic speaks for itself. And so I'm excited to get in the gym with her and kind of learn her way of working too, because I think our work ethics are going to be pretty similar. Then I also know Aaliyah, I know Grace, just from battling against her in Indiana for 4 or 5 years now. So I am really excited. It's a pretty young team, and I actually have played with or played against a decent amount of them. So I'm excited to get there, get to know them as teammates and then get to compete with them.
So having that experience with Aaliyah, obviously you have the opportunity to know that you're suddenly at a team where Aaliyah can't be doubled and you can't be doubled, right? I mean, have you guys talked about the fact that, no one, and again, it just goes back to what I talked about up top, no one figured out how to stop you. No one really figured out how to stop Aaliyah. And in both cases, they were throwing defensive schemes at each of you that aren't going to apply here in the pros. I mean, what is that going to mean to be able to have somebody who essentially can pass out of the post to find you and vice versa? What do you think it's going to mean for Aaliyah to know that they can't leave you for her?
I think it's going to mean a lot of spacing for both of us and the rest of our teammates as well. I think it's going to create a lot of driving lanes still. And a lot of freedom and spacing within the offense. But we actually did talk about it because, both of us have seen some defensive, I like to call it junk defense throughout the year. Most people don't usually get to see, but I think at the end of the day, that's actually going to play to our advantage in the league. You get to, if you can play against that and you can keep your cool mentally, you can play against pretty much anything.
No doubt. And I'm sure there's reasonable disagreement over which was the best conference last year, but to my mind, it was in fact the Big Ten. And so to be able to do that there is a remarkable thing. Just, the way that conference challenges top to bottom. In terms of Indiana and that experience, I would be remiss not to point out, it's one thing to get drafted. It's another thing to get drafted and hear Lin Dunn's voice on the phone when it happens. Just take me through what that initial phone call was like and just your initial impressions of Lin, who was obviously unlike, anybody in this league or elsewhere.
Yeah. No, it was really cool. Like I said, the first thing that kind of went through my mind was just like thankful that they took a chance on me. And then getting to hear kind of put a voice to the face that I've seen for years now, even when she was in Kentucky. So just, I think that has been really cool. And obviously I'm really excited to get to Indiana and meet her, meet the rest of the staff and just get to work with them. But it's really cool just to put a voice to the legend.
To do what you did in college and to continue to push to find your right fit, it feels to me like there is a negative spin put on transferring in a lot of circles. And it's something that, quite frankly, I find offensive, given that coaches are free to move about the country wherever they see fit. I think there's even a step beyond that, though, here, which is to say that by playing in different spaces and getting different systems under your belt, do you feel as if it has helped you become better prepared for the pros than staying in one place would have?
Yeah, I think, the notion on transferring is what is people going to make it? Nobody really knows what each individual's situation, what player situation has looked like. So it's easy to kind of throw it all into one spectrum. But, people they move for whatever reason it may be. They do it to move to a better situation for themselves, put themselves in a better situation. So you can't really fault anybody for trying to put themselves in a better situation, first of all. But yes, I do agree that being in three places has actually played a benefit to me and will play a benefit in the league. I think being a part of, like I said, 3 different cultures, 3 different organizations, 3 different coaches, and all having really different playing styles and just ways of coaching and ways of approaching the game, I think, and will really help for me. Just because you never know what's going to happen in the league. You never know who you're going to play with. You never know who you're going to play for, especially with the whole draft process and having 12 different possibilities, really. I think will definitely play to my benefit. But like I said, I'm thankful for everything that each university provided for me. I think they all provided a specific need for me at the time. And I think they ultimately helped me grow to the person that I am, just bring me back home to Ohio State.
I had a WNBA GM who was not Lin say to me, I cannot believe that Indiana managed to get the best shooter in the draft at 13. I wonder if for you, do you use that? Is that fuel to you to be able to say, obviously it's a great opportunity and we know well, this is a league with 12 teams. This is a league where what number you get picked doesn't matter the same way that the opportunity to play matters. Mm-hmm. But all of that said, I know different players use different things for fuel. Is it something you plan to use?
Yeah, I always try to find ways to help fuel me. But I mean, I'm very intrinsically motivated. I'm motivated by my own dreams, goals, aspirations. But like I said before, I'm just thankful that they took a chance on me. It didn't really necessarily matter the number, more so the opportunity to go make a team and go compete. So obviously we'll use it as fuel, but I'm ready to go. So I'm game 1, practice 1, I'll be ready to go.
Locked On Women's Basketball is brought to you by Prize Picks, your daily fantasy game of choice. So how does it work? Look, you pick 2 to 6 players, and if they go on to score more or less than the Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. You're not competing against other people. It's you and the projections. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch. That's right, you. Not just men's college basketball, but women's college basketball. Not just NBA, but WNBA. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy with safe and fast withdrawals, and it's currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. So download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks. Well, that's all for Locked On Women's Basketball today. We will be back with you, of course, tomorrow. And all week, we're talking to WNBA players, present and future. We've got a big show coming up tomorrow, Thursday as well. And then on into the weekend with our incredible WNBA draft crew. Oh, the draft just happened. What are we doing? We're getting you ready for next year's draft. Until tomorrow, I'm Howard Megdal wishing you a wonderful Tuesday.
Ogunbowale for the win. Good!
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
It is very hard to conceive of a more WNBA ready game than yours. And I'm eager to talk more about that and see it in the years to come. But here, just briefly, in segment 3, I want to talk about 2 things, 2 moments for you. And number 1 is on draft night itself. Take me through what it felt like. We saw each other in the back room, for the presser right after. But just, in that exact moment, what's going through your mind? Just take me through the moments right after your name is spoken aloud by the commissioner.
Yeah, it's a pretty surreal moment. It's kind of hard to put that into words, but I think more importantly, just being able to share that moment with my family. They've seen everything that I've been through. They've been my rock through everything. The first people I call when something good happens, first person I call when something bad happens, they've just really been my biggest supporters. So I think being able to share that with them was really awesome. Being able to give them a hug and give them a hat that they could rep to was pretty cool. But, when you're walking across that stage, it's really surreal being able to take a picture with the commissioner, have that jersey. That's something you dream about since you're a little kid. And then I think my mind ultimately shifted to let's get to work. Because at the end of the day, that's just a foot in the door, but you still gotta do work.
No doubt about it. And so how many tickets are you going to need for opening night?
I don't know. I might need a few. I'm going to have to after I handle some business in training camp, I'm going to have to call the ticket office and see if they can give me some more tickets.
Very true. Very true. Well, listen, that Indiana Fever team, the tickets are going to be going fast. Anyone who's anywhere in the vicinity needs to go check it out. I want to leave you with this. I wonder, so many of the best shooters I've talked to through the years use visualization. Is that something that you do with your shot, number 1? And number 2, have you done it yet when it comes to opening night of your WNBA career?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I used a little bit of visualization just because, those experiences that you dream about, you haven't really lived yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to kind of trust my shot through repetition and through hard work. I think more than anything, my shot mechanics and just how I go about my game has been like engraved in the hours that I put in every single day, every week, whatever it may be. So I think that comes more from preparation than anything else. But I mean, obviously you dream about these moments, you see them in your head over and over again. So I think I've done both, but I like to bank on the hard work over anything else.
I would just like to stress to my audience that whatever you're doing is working. So definitely stick with that. Taylor Mikesell, an absolute pleasure whenever I've gotten to cover you in college. Looking forward to covering you here in the W. We all appreciate your time. To my listeners at home, thank you for listening to Locked On Women's Basketball. Make sure you tune in again tomorrow and, of course, 6 days a week. Until then, I am Howard Megdal, wishing you a wonderful day.
Ogunbowale for the win.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.